They always say it gets greater later. It's supposed to be comforting, right? Like some grand promise written in the stars, a reassurance that all the pain, all the struggle, all the waiting, it'll pay off in the end. But with all that's happening around us, this notion can seem like an imaginable dream. What is seemingly in front of us is a far cry from the greater that we hope for. Our minds race, scrambling to meet deadlines, stretching every dollar, negotiating for more time to pay the bills, dodging eviction, disconnection, and the shame that lingers in spaces where greater seems just out of reach. But what knocks first isn't always relief. It's frustration. It's the creeping thoughts about your worth, the questions that whisper, am I doing enough? Am I enough? But what they don't tell you is that later doesn't mean much if you're not here for it. If you check out too soon, body weary, hope fading, heart guarded, you could be standing in the middle of your greater and not even recognize it. I used to think life was some kind of endurance test. That if I just held on long enough, swallowed enough pain, kept my head down, kept pushing forward, then one day, one magical day, life would reward me. I convinced myself that suffering was the currency of success. That if I was patient enough, if I sacrificed enough, my time would come. So I waited. Waited for the break, waited for the call, waited for the moments when everything would suddenly make sense, when all the wrongs would be righted, when all the losses would finally be worth something. But the thing about waiting is, it can turn into wasting. Wasting time, wasting energy, wasting life. Because while I was waiting for greater, life was happening right in front of me, and I was missing it. The little victories, the quiet joys, the slow, steady growth that doesn't look like much in the moment, but shapes everything in the end. See, greater isn't some distant destination. It's not a finish line you stumble across one day, battle-worn and weary, finally allowed to breathe. No. Greater is built in the now, in the resilience, in the showing up, in the choosing to be present even when life doesn't feel fair, even when the weight of the world is pressing on your shoulders, even when the promise feels delayed.
You're beginning to see it, Camilla. Life is happening in the moments you thought were insignificant. It's in the quiet joys, the small victories, the steady steps forward that often go unnoticed. You see, greater isn't a distant place waiting for you to arrive. It's a journey that unfolds as you walk with me in each present moment. Remember, I never asked you to carry the burden alone. When you're weary, come to me, and I will give you rest, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. Matthew 11 verses 28 to 30. What you're going through now is shaping you, but it's not the suffering that defines your life. It's how you respond, how you keep showing up even when the world feels heavy. In fact, your present struggles are nothing compared to the glory that's unfolding inside you. Romans 8 verse 18. I didn't come for you to endure hardship endlessly. I came so you could live life to the fullest. John 10 verse 10. The resilience you build in the now, the moments you choose to be present despite the wait, is where true growth happens. It may feel delayed, but remember, perseverance completes what's lacking in you. James 1 verses 2 to 4. You're not just waiting for greater, you're living it. Right here, right now.
You're right. I think of the notion of waiting for later often lead us to overlook the value of the present moment. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that life will magically get better or that we'll find fulfillment down the road. But the truth is, life unfolds in the now, in the choices we make, the small steps we take, and the moments we choose to be fully present in. Waiting for some future greater can make us miss the beauty, growth, and even healing that's happening right in front of us. There's something powerful about deciding to be present, no matter what. It's about acknowledging that the journey itself is a part of the greater story, and the way we engage with life now shapes what's to come. After all, it's not just about the destination, it's how we walk the path. It gets greater later, but later isn't promised. Now is all we have. So I'm here, right now, present for the journey, ready for whatever comes next. Because if I wait too long for greater, I might just miss it. And that's not a risk I'm willing to take. Greater is more about who we become along the journey, not just where we end